Right. Very good morning, Oshani and Sanjeev. So we are yet to have two people to join, Sujit and so let's see until others join. We try to get a kind of some start on today's session. So today basically I'm trying to discuss with you about the project appraisal in detail, right? So far what we have been doing was, so we were trying to understand what are the requirements in order to complete the project appraisal. So during our journey we learn about financial ratio, break even, working capital, non-financial tools in lending, and those things are kind of a support in order to make a kind of a detailed evaluation of a project. Right? Before moving to the presentation, I'll show you what exactly I'm going to do today. It's something like this. Now, if you take a project here, now in order to be successful, we need to be sure about several feasibilities like here. That's what we are trying to understand. Maybe management, maybe market, maybe technical, financial. Right? So there may be environment. And there may be other aspects, also different things. Right? Whatever the project proposal comes to you, so you need to be sure that so each item is alone viable in order this project to continue, right? So if let's say management is not viable, right, or maybe feasible, then we have some issues where how we can manage the issues come across in the evaluation of the management. Example, say the key promoters are not experienced enough means, so we have issue in running this project. Let's say they were very comfortable, they were very experienced in say garment trade, and now they have come to open a hotel. So in order to run the hotel, we need hotel experience, but they don't have. So then we have a risk here. We have some failure here. Then how we try to understand this? So based on the financials, then if they are very good at financials, good network, good asset base, right, enough cash, then what we can do is, instead of promoters running the hotel, we can hire competent staff from the market to run the hotels. That's how we are trying to mitigate the viability issue here. So that's what we are trying to learn here. And then if these things are the positives, viabilities, but failing which we might have some issues, right? That is management risk or maybe market risk. So that's the next one that we need to see. So the project evaluation, project appraisal is basically to manage these viabilities and the risk. If we see the market, the management risk by non-experienced promoters, so we are trying to mitigate that by deploying competent staff to run the hotel. So that's what the total idea is. So this is what basically the summary of today's presentation. What I have given you is, we have given you 4 documents. One is a presentation. There's another reading materials about cash flow based lending. You can read when you are at home, when you are leisure, when you have leisure. Then third one is basically I have given you a key feasibility, a summary which you can read through before the exam, and kind of a checklist, and also given the what are the risks on project lending. Finally, I have given you another document where when you are trying to compute the project cost before financing, what are the items that you need to go through under each item, that there are further sub items that you need to be worried with. So there are 4 documents, you can refer whenever you are going to do a kind of detailed study. So today's session is basically to understand what is project appraisal and what are the key items like project feasibility and project risk. So what we have done so far is basically about financial ratios, break-even, and all that will be useful in evaluating these viabilities. That's we need to couple here. So with this, basically, we are like in a position to almost complete the project appraisal part, except that we need to do about like investment tools and follow-up and recovery. There are 2 sessions to come, but without that even. So once we do this today, so basically we now in a position to link it from A to Z kind of about project appraisal, right? Malaka, good morning. And Nilanjana is not there today, but yeah, 3 of you with me today. Okay. Having said that, so we are trying to start the presentation. Right. So basically, now the project appraisal is basic, which mainly talks about if somebody asks about what is project appraisal, right? It's something about when you like want to put a kind of say MCQ question, they might ask about what is project appraisal. It's in overall it talks about economic and financial viability, but when you further go down, not only this economic and financial viability, there may be sub items also can cluster under economic and financial area. So generally we can say it's economic and financial viability. So lending institutions will make an independent and objective assessment of each and every aspect of investment proposal. So it also called pre-sanction supervision. Taking a second look critically and carefully by a person who is not involved or connected with it. So what basically, I just give you a kind of overview, what is this, right? Let's say you want to put up a say tea factory, and maybe you and your friends go together and you have some funds in you, and then you are trying to do a kind of a say project, that is maybe taking a land, putting up a factory, bringing down machinery and other layouts, and also discussing with small holders to bring you the tea, and then you have some discussions with brokers where you are bringing your completed goods to them. So like that, so you have some initial work done through a kind of a document, right? So by document itself, you might have done 2 things. One is could be your investment decision, the another one could be financing decision. Actually, we have done the financing decision last week about financial statement analysis kind of thing, but investment decisions we have not done, so which will be done probably next week or week after that. So basically, investment decision is something upfront whether you are going ahead with or not. For that, we have several criteria which we will be discussing in later. But the financing decision is once you take an investment decision, then you think about what is my GP, what is my NP, what is my debt service cover ratio, what is like current ratios, like that. So you will try to evaluate the financial performance. So that's basically as a promoter you do, right? Let's say now you take an investment decision, you are happy with the financing decision. Also, you have a project report done on this, let's say market and all those appraisals done. Now you say you're happy with that, and then say suppose you want to get a kind of a loan from a bank because your investment, your equity may not sufficient to cover this proposal, cover this project. So you go and meet a bank, and then now you are sitting there as a credit officer. So you get that report. So you try to evaluate it independent angle. So critically looked into about financial aspects, market, management, legal, technical, like that what we are trying to do today. And then based on that, you might come and say, yeah, this is economically feasible, this is financially feasible, so we are in a position to give you a loan. So that's what the project appraisal is in terms of bankers angle and previously it's a promoter's angle. So this is something, let's say you want to do something, you also carry out some appraisal, because it's end of the day it's your money, and project is basically it's for future and not for today. So then you have to think about what would be my future market, what would be my future environment, legal aspects, financial aspects, like that. So you try to work on the projected scenario. Similarly, a bank would look at the same perspective but different angle, because they also put the money, because this is now both of us has to run this, promoter and bank. So that's why we talk about project appraisal in banker's angle. Generally, if you put a function, a project is a function of I, G, M, F, T, R. Further, F is defined E plus L, equity and loan. So we'll see what is G, what is M, E, L, T, R. So further, success of the project depends on infrastructure, government economic policy, market condition, entrepreneurs' financial strength, equity or loan if they are not coming to a bank, but then they are equity, entrepreneurs' techno managerial capability. It's basically T and M has been touched upon, risk factors of the business. Now this is another more technical perspective how the project is looked upon. Similar thing I discussed just before 3-4 minutes. I put it into a graphical form where again you looked into management, market, technical, environment, legal, other, economic. So the feasibilities. So that is also included here. When you say I, what is infrastructure? So infrastructure could be about electricity, water, land, transportation. I mean, so many things has to be in place before you going to start a project. Now take example, recently, the private entrepreneur started a tire manufacturing company in Kaluthara, because it's an industrial zone. Now, in order him to be successful, that there are some infrastructure requirements like road, electricity, water supply, or maybe other kind of environment related aspects, or maybe something like raw material or labor. I mean, those things also may be needed. But if those things are not there, the project may not be successful. Suppose the same project that we are trying to put in, say, Jaffna example, might not have the same preferences, because they may not have that same support in terms of infrastructure. Right? Here it could be something, highway is closer by, so that you can go to harbor, sort of thing are much easier. But if it is in Jaffna, might not be easy, because the transportation of something about raw materials may take 3-4 days sometimes. So might not be very attractive in terms of infrastructure. Number 2, government economic policy. Very critical, like that in any other terms, it talks about economic feasibility. Whether the government is pro-export, government is to use local raw materials, government is to give tax concessions, government is there to use local labor. So government is there to support through a legislature, some regulation. So that's how the economic policy of the government. It is a support, it is a barrier. Here it is a support. Then there is a positive progress, positive push. Then market condition. Only 15% to 20% for the local market, rest is for export market. And whether there is an export market for that type of product. Yes, US or wherever that they are planning to export, because they have ready-made market. Then financial strength of the entrepreneur. Required bank loans could be obtained, equity to be there. Here, he might have those requirements fulfilled. entrepreneur techno-managerial. Very important. What's the technical? What's the managerial? Whether adequate staff. So here what they were talking about is, some British qualified people have come and trained local staff to run the operations. And the managerial personalities who run the projects have adequate competency to run the project. Technology, world-class technology, machines and those things has been brought into operations. It was also there. The risk factors, some of the risk like maybe the raw material may not be adequately obtained, or maybe labor issues, or maybe some other infrastructure issues, technical failures like so. You need to look at that and how well that we can address those things. So basically, so the project appraisal is a function of this. So much easier, we put into the graphical form, these are the feasibilities. And final one is the risk factors, which is the next circle that I just mentioned you. So that's practically for learning purposes, but in more technical purposes, project appraisal is a function of this. So just you go through what are those items for your knowledge, but in case of exam definitions, this is more than enough. Then project financing is something what we are trying to understand is cost of project and components. There are some, like that. So there are a couple of items here. So I will take you through on these items. Right? Now, when we try to do this project appraisal using evaluating these, the functions, so why we trying to do all those things is because it could be a support to understand the project financing step. So first we need to know what is the cost of the project and what are the components. I have given you a kind of a sheet that is key cost in project computation. You can read through at your leisure. So these are the each item and sub items that we need to know in arriving the cost of the project. Let's say land, building, machinery, working capital, other machinery, contingency, vehicles. So there may be a couple of items in the project. So each item could be classified further items also. When you say land, raw land cost, land development, fencing, other developments, so like that. So you need to know each item with a kind of an attached cost. So the addition of that will tell you this is my cost, right? So land is this much, like this. If you take the tire company also, they might have done those things at the beginning. And why these appraisals now come in here? So why those things are now important? So while we are doing this project financing, project structure, we have undertaken those evaluations also. So as a result of that, some project cost items could be changed or could be revisited, could be changed. Why? Let's say as of the initial is land, whatever may be the cost. But when we are going into detail, due to some feasibility issues, the cost of the land and land development would be now increased. That's why we undertake those. Maybe just land without any hassle, you can take it. But now you see, with the project coming up, there may be some modification to be done for the land. Maybe elevated building has to come up. The water levels and all that will be a problem. Then land development cost has to be come here. Initially, you might not thinking about fencing, developing, or those things, parapet wall and wall, that may not be required. Now when you undertake in the development, now you see that those things also needed, maybe to minimize sound, minimize other things into other factories. Then cost of the project in terms of land development increase. You getting my point? So the cost of the project and components are very key. We have a checklist. So under each item, you are trying to do a costing. Cost of the project and component. This is the total project. So when you know the total project, that cost could be shared by equity and the debt. Earlier you see that promoters financial position. So basically, in order to see how much equity, how much debt is required, we need to understand the total cost of the project. The total cost of the project, how we are going to do is, because we have a checklist. So each item that there may be basis when you are going through that, the schedule, that you understand how arriving the cost. If it's a building, per square feet. It's a land, per acreage. Going to rent, at the rent per acre like that. So those are the basis. Then this is land, this is building like that. The total cost. Then project implementation schedule also important. Right? Prior to that, I'll discuss about financing plan. Now, when you say the cost of a project is this much, and then who is going to finance that? Total equity, with debt, there may be joint ventures, other promoters. That also we need to know, which is included in this project appraisal report. Coming back to the implementation schedule, so everything is fine. Then we need to understand how we are going to implement this project. About land acquisition, land development, putting up the building, bringing the machinery, so like that. It has to be done in a schedule 4. So ඒක මුලින් දැනගන්න ඕනේ. එතකොට තමයි අපි දන්නේ when to start, when to finish. If you take a highway project also, so right now we know when we are going to finish this, the part 1, part 2, part 3, because that is the implementation schedule. That is necessary because this is not a million, 2 million, 3 million deal. This is something about 500 to 1 billion to 2 billion. It's a bigger investment. So since it's a bigger investment, a small delay in one of the activities might cause you heavy financial damage. Hence that we need to plan it, schedule it upfront, and then we exercise it with the close monitoring. Finally, under the project financing, we need to know what are the terms and conditions of releasing the money. What is the time schedule of releasing the money? Because as a bank, you approved a loan, you are not going to give the money day one, right? So you might have taken that approval to say, this much is for the land, this much is for the building, this much is for the working capital, this much is for your contingency and VAT, this much is for your machinery, vehicles, like that. So these are the project components. For that, you might have approved a loan. Then you have to know under what terms and condition I'm dispersing the funds to support this. Let's say purchasing a land, maybe you directly issue the check to the seller of the land, not to the promoter's current account. So in terms of machinery, you might open LCs through your bank on behalf of the promoter to the supply of the machinery, which he may be stationed in some other country. Vehicles similar, right? So this is how you are planning your financing schedule. So those things are coming under the project financing. It's another step of project appraisal. Then implementation, right? So once you have planned this, done this, evaluation, then how we are going to implement? Because you say this is my implementation plan. Based on the implementation plan, this is what you are going to do, right? Post-sanction supervision is something you give disbursement 1 and you visit and see what's the flow of progress, whether it is in line with original BOQ, original plan. And then importance of supervision and monitoring, because very critical item. Not like working capital, not like purchasing a land, not like purchasing a machinery for a factory. Those are standalone, but here it's a total project. If somewhere something is going to fail, means the total project could collapse. Hence, we need a close monitoring. supervision of each of these activity. Then each of these activity as per our original planning schedule. ඒක තියෙනවා ජනවාරි මාසෙ මොකද්ද, පෙබරවාරි මාසෙ මොකද්ද, මාර්තු මාසෙ මොකද්ද කරන item එක, ඒකට යන funding එක, එතකොට ඒකට යන terms and condition, එතකොට ඒකේ equity portion එක කොච්චරද. So everything has been documented and agreed upon. So ඒක තමයි අපි මේ check කර යන්නේ. So things to be looked for is those things. Then follow up action, whether they are in order. If not in order, what is the action that I need to do? Let's say due to some maybe unforeseen reasons, now some of the activities could not be completed. Then you need to again, revisit the project schedule, implementation plan, and the funding requirements. There may be additional cost now has to be borne. So the maybe as per the original condition, that has to be borne by the promoter. So the promoter should have money, right? Bring those funds and do it. Or maybe until you complete some of these activities, the rest of the activities could be now postponed. So many things could happen. Because of the rain, now you can't, deploy the labor to do outside work. Then you see the 2 months that there may be delay. Then you suddenly change your plans and do internal works wherever possible. Same labor, use for that. And after 2 months, you come back and do the rest of the work, because that's by doing that, the total project period can be controlled. So those are the things that we undertake on the implementation area. Then finally, once you do this, you try to understand what went wrong, what went right, lesson learned, right? And then make use of those for future projects. If you are a banker, you might have your, experience and could be a knowledge for you to review other projects. If you are a promoter, you can use for next project. So we are expert in, say, apartment projects, tea factories, hotels. We know what sort of, shortcomings could arrive. And based on that, you can use it for whenever the new project come for project appraisal evaluation. Right? So these are the items that, I just want to share. In a case of a project, we know what is project appraisal, what are the functions, what exactly we do when you're evaluating, right? And then we discuss some project steps, right? So in general, we do those things. Now we're going to understand in detail this project appraisal items, because market, management, and technical are very key, because whenever we want to estimate the project cost, these feasibilities are significant and important. So based on that, so we'll revisit the cost of the project, revisit the terms and condition of the project, revisit your implementation plan. I mean, so many things you can do and you have to do. Right? Now, what are those things? Right? Now we are trying to understand those things, right? So, as an independent party or a bank, we get a kind of project appraisal. So when we get the project appraisal, so we'll see what are the things that we try to do to make sure a project is within your risk appetite. Otherwise, you might not, willing to undertake the project further by your funding. But remember, by this stage, the promoter, entrepreneur might have done his own studies with respect to the items we just listed previously, about how to manage, how to follow up and review, how to implement, how to finance, and project appraisal. So he is comfortable. So he wanted to take a loan for the project to continue. So he comes and start discussing with you. So these are some of the items that we undertake to make sure a project proposal, a project concept is within your credit purview, risk purview. What are those activities? Preliminary discussions. Like all loans, you will have a individual or we have independent chat with the customer about to understand what is this all about. Then you might go through the project report submitted by the customer while you might have your own resource, and so then you try to go through project concept paper. Collection of information and facts could be internal, external, something which you have already have, or you might go for the outside sources and get about market, about industry, about government interaction. So a lot of things could be needed to support this or further evaluate. Consultation with expert. So if you are not comfortable with the subject, so you might have to consult internal, or even you can go to outside also with the concurrence of parties. Otherwise, the project detail could lead to third parties. No, so you might have a consultation, maybe outside experts. Then conducting the appraisal. That's a project appraisal in terms of market, in terms of financial, in terms of management, technical, legal, environmental, and all that. So where you try to find the positives and negatives. If the positive, it's a support, negative is a risk. So based on that outcome, so you might have, a kind of another round of discussion, right? So we have to understand further about a project concepts, positives, negatives. So you might undertake site inspection. It could be happen at this stage or even prior also, depending on the requirement. You go and visit where the land, the location, infrastructure facilities available, transportation, just to get a feel about whether this is like viable in terms of location and all that. And finally, it's a conclusion of say that we are happy with that. So we basically going to approve a kind of a credit under these terms. So this is what generally as an independent party we will do. When you try to do those activities, the key component of the project appraisals are these: market, technical, management, environmental, financial, economic, risk. Finally, the terms and condition and loan restructuring. So there may be so many things as a bank we could conduct. Right? That's what I put in as a snapshot earlier. When come to the project, we should be sure enough the project is viable, the project is feasible. And if it is not, means that we are unable to further consider or unable to finance. So in order to do that, there may be several techniques. If you remember, we have done non-financial tools, financial tools, break-even, working capital, so many other things which could be a support to do these activities. Well, otherwise, when you say market is good or bad is totally depend on some kind of analysis we undertake in terms of market. एक BCG matrix එක වෙන්න පුළුවන්, ඒක Porter's five forces වෙන්න පුළුවන්, it's a product life cycle වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Based on that, you say market is positive. Management, technical appraisals could be an outcome of SWOT analysis. Environmental appraisal is an outcome of pestle analysis. Financial appraisal is outcome of, like last week, what we have done about a ratio, trend, horizontal, vertical analysis. Economic appraisal is something all about the economic impact, about employment opportunities, inflation, balance of payments, and so many things will come into decide economically feasible, like import substitution, contribution towards the GDP. So, economic appraisal. When we try to do all those things, if it is something about positive, we say it's feasible. It's a negative, there may be risk, like I have mentioned there, market risk, technical risk, management risk, environmental risk, so many risks could come. Then you try to manage these feasibilities with the risk, and coming out could be a solution acceptable to both parties. Then you further fine tune that proposal with terms and conditions like loan amount, tenor, general condition, pre-disbursement condition, special condition, security, contracts, signing and all that. So with that, so we say, so we are happy with the project to proceed. This is all about project appraisal. Now we try to understand each appraisal separately. Before that, any questions from your end? Whether it's like you are getting it what I'm telling, or if you do have any ambiguity in discussing this point, so please let me know. We have Dilanjana and Malak also. Any questions? Sanjeev, Ushani? The concept is all right with you, or any issues with that? Dilanja, you joined later, but you can, yeah. Thanks, Malaka. Thanks, Sanjeev. You can go through, thanks, Oshani. Go through what we have done. Actually, we just started about, discussing about project appraisal. And basically, project appraisal is something about project feasibilities and understanding the project risk. So in order to understand the project feasibility, that, we have to go by, each item that we just described. And so there may be flip side of the project feasibility. The project positives is the project risk. So we try to manage feasibilities, the positive with the negatives, and we try to come out kind of some residual sort of thing to project structuring. So before that, initially we discussed about the project appraisal is function of several items, which are the controlling factors of the successful project or not. So we need to understand what are those things, which is again a part of the project appraisal exercise. So you can read through Dilanja, and if you have anything, please let me know when we are going through those docs. Right. Then come to the key appraisal areas. Market appraisal. So when you say market appraisal, so there may be several tools that we can use for this, but here what I am trying to share with you is what are the subtopics, items under the market appraisal that you need to be worried with, concerned with, to see the market is positive or negative, right? These are the maybe 2 items, 2 slides in case of exam. So probably if they ask about what is market appraisal, you have to at least write 5 items out of those things with a small description. That is sufficient to get the adequate marks. So a product and service, usage, special features, advantages over substitutes. Let's say you are a project officer, and then you have got this project proposal, and then you are trying to undertake, evaluate the market appraisal with respect to this project. When you are trying to do that, you use these sub items, topics, to see how potential the market is. the product and service. What's the product the customer is going to come up with this project? Whether there is any special features. What are the advantages over substitutes? Like if you take the tire factory example, they basically, the usage could be raw materials from Sri Lanka because maybe the rubber. What are the special features of the product? So internationally, recognize international standard a brand. Advantages over substitutes, probably they go for the export market where as per their market research, they have even found some buyers for that also. It's like that. This is what basically you look into the qualities, features of the product. Whether you are happy, whether it's acceptable, whether it's a positive. What I'm trying to do is maybe right now in the market, there's no advantage over substitutes. There's no special features. Right? So based on that, then you have to think about why they go for this much of investment. Right? එහෙම කරලා මොකද්ද මේගොල්ලන්ට මේකෙන් ගන්න පුළුවන්? Competitive advantage එකක් තියෙනවද නැද්ද in terms of market? That's what we are trying to understand here. එහෙම නැත්තම් probably no point of investing this much. Like maybe if right now imports are allowed and then you can see imports are coming and products are better than what you are producing. එතකොට ඔයා මෙච්චර ඉන්වෙස්ට්මන්ට් එකක් කළා මෙහෙම ප්‍රොඩක්ට් එකක් මෙහෙම සර්විස් එකක් මාකට් එකට දාලා වැඩක් නැහැ. You getting my point? So that's what you look into under each item. Demand. Whether it's a local, whether it's a regional, whether it's a national or global. Whether there is a demand and if it is, where the demand is coming from. Right? It's a global demand එකක් නා. If you are supplying for the global, probably so that is better because we get the dollars, we get the foreign exchange. Or if we are only for the domestic market or maybe regional market or local market, then we need to think about so whether it's adequate. Why they can't go to the regional to national level? Whether it's a feasible to go in the local market, because you see that you producing rice, for example, and you are trying to produce within that district. Whether you can survive in case of external vulnerabilities. දැන් අපි හිතමු නිපුණ එහෙම නැත්නම් හිරු වලින් ඇවිල්ලා ආපහු අලුතෙන් හාල් එකක් ඉන්ට්‍රොඩියුස් කරනකොට whether you can compete enough. Right now there you don't have issue. Maybe another year or two because with the expansion of the market, maybe existing players could come and compete with your local product. එතකොට සමහරට demand එක වගේ නැති වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Because the demand is not for today, because this is about future. You understand whether what type of demand and whether it's a forthcoming. It's a potential. Supply, local, competitors, imports, export potential analysis, details of other exporting countries. So very important. So where you get the supply, local supply, if it is not, then where you are going to get this, on what terms, whether it's a sustainable, but like the cost impact over time, whether you can adjust that in with the demand. Like because the supply එක මදි වෙලා export කරගෙන අපි කරනකොට if the cost of production is going up, whether you can match with the demand, with the price. ඒ market වලින් ඒ ගන්නට ගණිත නැත්තම් whether you have the efficiency. Under technical analysis we have to see whether what's the effectiveness and efficiency of your operations. එතකොට ඒක with the learning curve and all that, so you can bring the cost down. So those things also link. Current market price, what's the price? Local and imported, right? So very important. When the market appraisal, like it could be something about 4 Ps or extended Ps like 7 Ps. එහෙම නැත්නම් product life cycle, එහෙම නැත්නම් BCG matrix, එහෙම නැත්නම් Porter's 5 forces model, නැත්නම් algebraic strategies. So there may be so many tools. Then we can use those tools to understand the potential. Then here I am discussing about the points that you need to be worried with. එතකොට මේක කොහොමද කරන්නේ? You have to use sometimes those tools available to understand further. Then what is the marketing arrangements? What's the pricing policy? What's the distribution channels? What's the terms of credit? Kohom the debtors la, kohom the creditors la, how much you are giving the debtor, how much you are giving the creditor, right? Confirm orders, like whether you have the confirm orders for next year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year. a kind of a contract agreement. Grants, export incentives, rebates, that's from the government side, what you will have. Whether imposing tax, it could be a negative, or rebates, or export incentives, or grants to start up, or to further support the consultancy and all that. So maybe tax concessions, it could be a support. Marketing organization of the project, key personnel, experience, qualification, facilities provided. Remember, I think, who are the the players, who are the managers, right? Who is going to run this project and business? Very important, right? And then finally, main buyers, local and abroad, marketing strategy, sales promotion, market potential justification. So these are something that you need to look into in terms of market appraisal. I hope you are getting that. So මේ කියන්නේ basically market එකක් තියෙනවා, ඒ market එක කොච්චර potential, කොච්චර feasible in terms of selling this product and service. So you keep that in mind and go into detail under each checklist item. In practical scenario, we might not go into all sort of activities, all sort of checklists, but since we have been in this business board for a longer period, with customers submitting their marketing plan, market research available, market strategy, potential of a market justification. So you also use your brain, use your knowledge, and you do a kind of a independent study on market. If you think that market is potential, then you might say there is no risk on this market, right? Now, if you take the same example in terms of rubber manufacturing firm located recently declared open in Horana, because they have very positive outlook on the market. Lesser component to local market where you don't face severe competition. Majority you are exporting. You got ready-made market agreement. They have done the market the research. There are buyers to agree. There are some agreements, right? So it's something, and it's a ready-made, concrete proposal in terms of market. If you are somebody coming and putting up a 5-star hotel, so probably, with these arrangements, may not be easy to get down, the people in and tourists in whatever designated locations or frequent locations. We are getting tourists in the past. Hence that there may be a risk in market. Or maybe that we have tourist markets from German to China to India to some EU countries, but right now, so everything has been curtailed or maybe reduced. If we are trying to focus more and more from next 3-4 years also, it may be gradually now increasing, not immediately. So means that market are not so great. So market, it's not bad also, because anyway tourism is our main income. Government is very positive in terms of concessions, incentives, and all that. So they also, like, centrally they're conducting so many investors, like tourism fairs and all that, to attract or bring many tourists. But there are positives, but still it's not quickly increasing, enhancing. Markets are not enhancing, increasing in the short term, tenor, medium term, or longer term, it could be increased. So that's what generally you need to worry about, and we need to see whether those markets are stable, are happy, feasible, positive, or those markets are a bit of concern, reviving very slowly, bit of competition in terms of modules and all that. So means that not very positive. It's something about average. So you need to understand that in terms of the product, in terms of the project, in terms of the service. Project to project, it could be different, and time to time, it could be different. Maybe 3 years back, it's very happening. You know, maybe just before the Easter, just before the COVID, there was a very good proposition for hotels, tourism, and even ecotourism, sports tourism, environmental tourism, I mean, medical tourism, so many things we were talking about. But right now we see a slump. But again, it could be increased over time. Hence that it might not be very much feasible to, you know, invest a 5-star hotel today and to, you know, get whatever the expected turnover market potential in very soon. But if you can hold over about another 1 to 2 years, yes, there is a positive or maybe a likelihood of reach into that figures that we expected 3 years back or 2 years back. Hope you getting it. So that is all about market appraisal. So you need to understand what is the market and what are the items that you need to further look into to see with the market potential. If you are not comfortable as an independent party, then you say this is a red. It's not positive. There are some issues. So we can't agree on these areas. Then how we are going to mitigate those things? About experienced staff, about your marketing arrangements, about touching the international market, right? Then about you know, confirm orders, whether that you can, you know, enter into agreements like that. Then you need to revisit the proposal in terms of market. So if they are happy with that, if they can come with whatever the answers that you also happy, then you can say, after the negotiation, after the discussions, now we have come into the agreement, which part of those things could go into loan terms and agreement also, you know, to support the project in terms of market. It's a redefined now, revisited now. But suppose even after that, your issues has not been addressed, means you might say that, you know, we are unable to support this project because the market is not very much attractive or market is not conducive. So that's what your feedback on terms of market. So like that, you can do market, you can do technical. So every feasibilities you can carry it out. But sometimes maybe 1 or 2 may be negative, rest is positive, but at the last stage, so everything has to be acceptable level. Market if you can bring some positives in the financial side to mitigate the market negativity, acceptable level. Like about sourcing competent staff could be done, because if you have good contacts, good networks, and enough financial resources, then you can bring a, you know, world-class chef, general manager, front office manager, F&B manager, right? If you can give this hotel chain to international chain to run, like Marriott and all that, so then most of these issues could be sorted out. Then you run in the hotel, you build it, you give a kind of, you know, management to a reputed hotel chain. So then they can bring tourists. එතකොට bank එකේ ප්‍රශ්නේ, entrepreneur එකේ ප්‍රශ්නේ දෙකම විසඳෙනවා, and market is now potential. That's what we're trying to do through these appraisals. Right. Any questions? Any questions, or all good? I don't also see that there is a, you know, difficulty here. Most of the like theory stuffs, but only thing is important. So you need to go through most of those stuffs for the exam. Actually, for this paper, we haven't seen very much in terms of project appraisal, the feasibilities, but there was one question about listing the project risk. There may be 20 odd risk, but you need only to write 5 out of them. Get 5 marks, right? There was one question, the recent paper. So possibly in the next paper, for which you are going to sit, he might ask about the other side, the feasibilities, right? And write a short note on feasibility. So ekahinda meka man hitanawa bit important, because either what generally he talks about, feasibility or risk like that. So this time it was a risk. In previous, we had some questions about feasibilities. Market feasibility, technical feasibility, management feasibility. So write the feasibilities and also write a short note on one of them. So when you ask to write a short note, so you can easily take 4 or 5 out of the items that we described and give a kind of one-line description like what we have done here. Okay. Then we move to the next one, technical appraisal, right? Now, this is again important. What is the technical appraisal? Is basically you try to understand the technical feasibility of the project. How technically this project is viable, right? So when you talk about technical feasibility, it's very wide area. It's not easy to do some technical appraisal for a general project officer. So sometimes we need expert opinion on this. So why I am telling is, if you just see this slide, when you say technical feasibility, we try to understand maybe the product, maybe the process, maybe the people, their capability, right, to run. Product viability, process viability, people viability, right? And those things are what we looked into in general. So you need to go into detail, even the minor details like this. If you take, say, different projects, you get agri projects, livestock, fisheries, industrial, construction, marketing. So projects are going to come. When you say agri projects, like say pineapple, maybe coconut plantation, maybe tea, rubber, right? So when you get each agri project by crop to crop, you have some differences about land utilization plan, a crop calendar. We need to know. Then if you take a coconut cultivation, so how many coconut plants to be planted in 1 acre? What's the difference, the between the gap between one coconut tree to another, right? So whether that you can do something in between another crop, pineapple වගේ දේවල් අපි හදනවා under coconut land. අපි කියනවා යටි බගාවක් කියලා. So how we are going to do that? එතකොට there may be 2 different the requirements. Land utilization plan and irrigation purposes, how we are going to do those things. So agri project it's different from livestock. When you say livestock, herd flow, bird flow charts, if you are trying to do something about cattle, if you are trying to do about some other like chicken, if you do something about some other like about fish, right? So it's a different technical requirement. So you need to know all those things. So that's why sometimes you hire people like agri graduates, engineering graduates into your project financing team, because they might have learned them under their degree, and those knowledge, whatever those techniques, knowledge could be used in evaluating these projects. Fisheries, aquaculture, ponds, tanks, like, so how many fish species that you can put in a kind of a particular pond per tank? What's like requirement from one to another? How long you need to keep whatever those species in a particular tank, and when that you want to transfer light, how you put, water levels, the quality of the water. I mean, lot of things that you need to worry with. Industrial projects, it's a different type of project about mining, milling, processing, quality improvements, machine requirement, power requirements, right? I mean, sound pollution, wastewater, hard waste. I mean, lot of things has to be under your knowledge. Construction, architectural planning, structural drawing, and what do you call infrastructure requirement about water, electricity, having a separate the transformer, right? Those are about construction. Marketing is like service projects. It's totally different approach in terms of technicality, how you are going to measure the what do you call effectiveness of the marketing project. That's in terms of technicality. So like that. So approach in terms of a general approach could be same, but based on the different project, different product, different variety, then the knowledge, the source, parameters that you need to be different. That's why sometimes we talk about the project financing, infrastructure financing, project appraisal. It's not so easy. It's not a general, right? But when you are being a loan officer, that yes, you have gathered some of the experience in terms of most of these areas, but still you need to be up to date. Data knowledge has to be current right now, not like those days. Now if you come into say rice, for example, අපි දවසවල කිව්වා යාලා මහ කියලා දෙකක් කියලා කිව්වා. කන්න දෙකයි, seasons දෙකයි. But right now there may be third season also. ඒ කියන්නේ අවුරුද්දට තුන් පාරක් හදන්න පුළුවන් crops තියෙනවා. Right? So then you need to know that. එහෙම වුණාම එහෙම දන්නේ නැත්නම් then the promoter might come and tell you no මෙන්න මෙහෙම January ඊට පස්සේ එකක් ආපහු May ඊට පස්සේ එකක් November කියලා, then you might see know that you only know about Jan to May or June and then July to something. යාලා මහ දෙක විතරනේ අපි දන්නේ. But there may be different, the crops, varieties, right? And then we need to work on that, because that's sometimes they might say this year they might come up with paddy. Next year there could be something about another crop. So intermittently they use, the one crop and the other. That that you should know, and what could be the impact about the soil to water to and everything. You need to advise sometimes. But otherwise, because when you are in a kind of the independent evaluator kind of project, you need that knowledge. Probably if you don't have, probably then you need to consult a kind of a person who is in charge, who is capable, who is in a position to advise you. So we might be able to get that also if we are unable to have that knowledge within, right? Those things are a part and parcel of the job, but for the exam purposes, we need to know that this is what the kind of a requirement. Then basic consideration, like other than the specific, what are the basic things that you need to look into in terms of technical appraisal? Infrastructure facilities, that's number one, like power, maybe water, road access, suitability of the location, very important. Then let's say if the customer wanted to put up a plant and in a residential area, so obviously when you visit the location, you might say, no, this is not feasible, because you are trying to do manufacturing and there may be noise, there may be waste, there may be so many other factors which could influence to the residencies. So then there may be obstacles in terms of power, example, maybe water usage, right? Road usage. I mean, so many things could have an impact. If you are putting the plant in a residential area, you might say, we are not in support. Why not you go and take a land in a industrial zone? Because it's dedicated for that. And then production process. What is the process? It's like it meets with the standard, or it's in line with the ISO process, or it's in line with international standard, or whether that adequate precautionary safety requirements has been taken, right? So whether it is in line with the other competitors, right? You need to see that, because sometimes that you might try to have a garment factory where your production process, your proposed plan is totally different to maybe the existing, maybe the current, maybe the practice process. Then it could create some issues, right? මොකද දැන් ඔයගොල්ලෝ අහලා තියෙන layout plan and ඔක්කොම හරියට තියෙන්න ඕනේ. එහෙම නැත්නම් delays වෙනවා. ඒතර production එක හරියට ගියේ නැත්නම් then you can't have that output at the right time. Right? There may be so many other things also could impact if the production process is not right. Then fixed asset requirement, suitability and availability. First is place, if it is existing, how suitable, or if you want to put it fresh, whether those things are available in the local market or if not in the foreign market, right? Whether that we are in a position to get them down in a right intervals to start the project. So that's all the fixed asset requirement. Install capacity and capacity utilization. So that is very important. Then ඔයාගේ demand එක market එකේ හැදෙනකොට market proposal එක කරලා we are producing 1 million output කියලා කිව්වට we need to know whether you have that installed capacity at least to 2 million. And what's the capacity utilization with these labor systems and all that initially 50% the 40% the 60% the, you need to know what's the capacity utilization. One thing is internal, one thing is external. It's also have a link with market. Then අපි මෙතන හදනවා units 1 million, but market is there for only 500,000. එතන මෙතන store කරගෙන තියනවා කියලා කියන්නේ there is a cost impact on that. You understand? So like that you need to also think with other parameters. Power, fuel requirement, other utilities like usage and requirement, then labor, skill, unskilled. You need to know whether labor is available and sufficient, right? First thing is, let's say you are put in a factory at sometimes we might say northern province, and then whether that a sufficient labor is available, one is, and their skill level is adequate. Then even නැත්තම් you need to hire them from say eastern or maybe north western. That also include a cost. Then you need to inbuild that into your total cost, which I mentioned earlier. And අපි හිතුවොත් labor අපිට ඉන්නවා කියලා හිතාගෙන අපි program එක කරගෙන යනකොට when come to sourcing the labor, now you see there is no labor. The labor here they are not adequately equipped with. එතකොට මොකද කරන්නේ? Then you are in trouble. එතකොට transportation එහෙම නැත්නම් introducing the hostel facilities for them to locate or stay overnight in the තැනක් දෙන්න වෙයි. මොකද ඒගොල්ලන්ට හැමදාම යන්න බෑ. So additionally then you need to put up a building for labor to stay for their stay, which is the additional cost which we have not initially thought about. Right? ඒවා ආවොත් cost එක වැඩි වෙනවා. He is going to fund them. Finally, it's anyway the bank and the promoter is liable, no? Responsible to start and run this project. So those things you looked into earlier. ඒක මම කිව්වා දැන් අර project එකක appraisal එකක් කරන එකේ advantage එක, you try to understand what are the issues. How we are going to mitigate that. එතකොට in order to address that, so you need to put extra money. Then it could be linked into your total project cost under buildings, under machinery. Like if you talk about labor training, maybe you might initially think that there is no training requirement. They can run it. But based on the technology, based on the product features, parameters, you need a skilled labor. They need to be trained under somebody. You need to hire some people and you have to pay them. And under them, under their supervision, these guys, local labor has to be trained over a period of 6 months to 9 months to 1 year, which include another cost. එතකොට ඒක අපි include කරන්න ඕනේ අතනදී initial cost එකක් හැටියට. Technical know-how, local, foreign. Remember, if you talk about the tire factory, it's a local and foreign collaboration because we need foreigners to come and train our local staff. The knowledge also like that. But some projects, we need not the foreign collaboration. The local staff can do it. Like if you take a run in a 5-star hotel, probably 1 or 2 guys could be maybe foreigners or whatever. There may be adequate local resources to run it. But the highly technical tire manufacturing company, obviously we want foreign inputs in terms of training to, skills to, machinery to, and everything, because that has to be, majority of the product is going to export. You getting my point? So like that, then under the technical appraisal, you try to look into these areas, right? It's, further goes like pages, but I mean, don't worry too much, like take 5 to 6 points out of those and be ready with that in terms of exam purposes, because since that there are so many things that I have included as a checklist, but not everything is required in terms of exam. But when you undertake this exercise in practical, when you are in a project officer, obviously, yeah, you look into each and every area. So if, let's say, if you got a garment factory, possibly you might go through whatever the existing garment factories you have funded under your banking book, and you will go through what are the requirements which we have already looked into, and take that input. And also you refer the current requirements, and also you discuss with whatever the promoters. So it's a collective, you see, this is our requirement, this is you need to be complete with, and these areas that you need to have it upfront and interim and with the ongoing basis. So like that, so we'll do all those stuffs, right? Before coming to the management, any questions under technicality? Another pressure තියෙන technical appraisal එකේ. Nothing. I don't see also any difficulty, but please let me know anything that is not clear. Please let me know. But maybe this is the first time that you are like hearing those things. Probably it might be a kind of a concern, but whenever like you go through this in different intervals, you might see this is not a bigger deal. But only thing is, like, since that we are planning for the exams, that what is required for the exams is more than enough this point of time, because otherwise if you talk about the project appraisal, it's like maybe 3-4 days exercise, right? Knowledge sharing. But what I am trying to do here is, yeah, there are a lot, but I wanted to focus on very important areas, like I mentioned about one document about project feasibilities and risk, which is very important, with some checklist. Then I also have given you a cost item. So far, actually, it has not been tested. But in case if the examiner wanted us to write, let's say, then how we are going to assess the cost of land in terms of project computation. එතකොට ඔයාලා land එක කියන්නේ මොකද්ද? land එකේ cost එක justify කරගන්නේ මොන basis එකේද කියන එක අදහන ගන්න ඕනේ. So that's for that purpose I have given. Maybe land, building, machinery and working capital. ඒ හතර බලාගත්තා නම් ඇති ඒකේ, but so far it has not been tested, right? My issue is like, since that I have shared those documents to you, and since that probably they have whoever who is going to set the paper might looked into the resource materials we share, probably he might have taken it and put a question. So this time also I see it has happened. ඉතින් ඒ හින්දා දැන් ඒකට share නොකරින්නත් බෑ ඔයගොල්ලන්ට, because it's a good thing to share, because you learn, and once you share, it is in their library, so they can look into that and they can pick some areas and give some questions, right? So those are the two areas that you need to look in terms of exam which I have distributed. In addition, what we need to know is like a short note and a kind of brief description on market, technical, management appraisal. Because financial appraisal, we have done it separately. ඒ හතර බලාගත්තා නම් In addition, what is project appraisal? What are the components of the project appraisal which we initially discussed? That's what all about required for the exam purposes. Then entrepreneur management. This is again important. Probably you might have come across about management appraisal in other areas like credit management and all that. Similar thing come in here. Here we try to understand the competency of the promoters, right, who are supposed to run the project. So management quality of key personnel is like their integrity, their reliability, their competence, their qualification, their experience, right? Whether it's like, balanced team, like not all are lawyers, not all are marketeers, all are engineers, not like that. There is a kind of a combination of the key promoters in different disciplines, and then how do they face with the risk, like whether how they have managed the previous crisis situation, what type of labor relations that they are going to maintain and they have maintained. So very important, because ultimately these guys are the people who run the operation in day-to-day basis, since especially these are the projects which up and coming for future. එතකොට දැන් කලින් වෙච්ච දෙයක් අපිට අරගෙන එහෙප පිටින්ම කියන්න බෑ. They might do it in the same way in future, but you can take a clue from their past behavior and see whether you can come kind of very, say, 50-60% conclusive opinion, say they will do good, but it's better you do a kind of a detailed evaluation. So like SWOT analysis is very good tool here to understand their previous capacities, right? එතකොට අපි දැන් SWOT එකකට දැම්මහම management එක, so we'll get all those things. These are positive, these are negative, these are opportunities for them, these are threats, kind of thing. So with that you can come up with some detailed points of the particular promoters and management. Then I think with that I'm not going to go into very detail, so you can write like these are the things that we will look in terms of management feasibility, management appraisal. Then there may be some other areas also you need to look into, like environmental appraisal. So environmental appraisal is basically, now if you say PESTEL, political, economical, social, technological, legal and environmental itself. එතකොට මේ ඒකෙදි somebody can take out environmental, economic වෙනම අරගෙන කරන්නත් පුළුවන්, but එහෙම නැත්නම් when you say the project environment is totally about this PESTEL, right? That's what we did in the PESTEL analysis also. Let's say this tire, this hotel, tea factory, maybe harbor, highway. So when you get that kind of bigger project, what you try to understand is, so in terms of project and its operating environment and which industry, which market the particular project is going to take place. So you try to take a macro perspective on the project environment in terms of industry scanning. ඒක තමයි අපි කරන්නේ. දැන් අපි ගත්තොත් tire company එක, a tire company itself some environmental issues, economic issues, legal issues, but we try to compare those and evaluate those considering the overall industry, tire industry. You getting my point? Like if you say yes, that is located in free trade zone, then the environmental impact could be minimized because it is located there. Yes, you need to look at that. And in terms of political regulatory, you need to say what's the government support, what's the political stability, regulatory support in terms of macro view now, because the project is survived if the government is supporting, because if the government wants the export driven industries. So in that context, yes, this is very good opportunity for a new tire factory who is supposed to export their products to US, UK, those markets. But if it is vice versa, probably it's not the viable opportunity for a factory who are supposed to export, because if the government is not support for exports, if they put a cess or whatever something, it's going to make it attractive in it. Economic also, you see what's the like a prevailing economy, what's the economic contribution by this project in terms of labor, in terms of employment creation, in terms of saving foreign exchange or raising foreign exchange, in terms of minimizing the balance of payment, in terms of contribution to the GDP. It's a positive. Like a hotel, yes, because we encourage, because it creates an economic support. Right? Now, social also. Whether by having this type of a project will create a social support or not, in terms of employment, in terms of social interaction, in terms of social responsibility, right? Maybe cultural also come in here, but you feel that it doesn't make a sense, right? Because it's like people would grab this as a good opportunity in terms of social. But if it is a hotel with a casino, for example, it's not good in socially and culturally for a country like Sri Lanka. It's a negativity. It's a positive because we get employment. So if you take the people who are living around, maybe their land prices could go up now. Roads could be widened. There may be electricity supply, it could be maybe looked into positively now. So a better opportunity. So they will say it's a good move. You understand? So under environmental appraisal, we look into these aspects in terms of macro view. But then again, there may be negativity. If it is, then we say it's environmental is not supporting. Economic support, economic evaluation, social, legal evaluations like that. So it's something separately also you can look into these appraisals. But otherwise, you can consider as a cluster also. It depends. If somebody asks about, write a short note on economic appraisal, legal appraisal, environmental appraisal. So you need to write it separately. If not, you can say environmentally, you look into the PESTEL in terms of macro view about the industry and these areas that we are interested in. So if things are positive, we say environmentally supportive. Things are negative, we say it's environmentally not supportive. So based on that, as a bank, as an independent party, you take your financing decision or not. Hi. Before moving to the financial appraisal, let me know any issues on environmental appraisal. Or is it clear enough? Or any ambiguity created after the kind of a discussion? Sanjeev is clear. Malaka, Dilanj has left seems. Oshani, is it clear or? Right. Thanks, Oshini. Thanks, Malaka. Means that I know that it's like not difficult, but I must say it's like important. Since that whatever we have done so far will be measured at this level by what is project appraisal, write a short note on each item, what is project feasibility, what is project risk, or why the project financing is important, what are the stages of project financing, what are the key items on the project. So those are the kind of questions that examiner would give us. But if you go through the past papers also, you can see some of those questions which are not difficult, but you need, you can attempt that, but it's needed to have this umbrella approach, because we have done piecemeal things, and today only that we have put everything into kind of, you know, the umbrella view. So project appraisal is a part of everything. So far what we have done is, so each items will be useful to assess these, you know, project feasibilities. That's what I want to create on. Right. Then we move on the financial appraisal. That, you know, basically the financial appraisal is, now if remember, we have done for existing company, we can do P&L, cash flow, and balance sheet analysis in terms of trend analysis, in terms of ratio analysis, in terms of vertical analysis, in terms of horizontal analysis. ඒ හතර තමයි අපි කියේ financial tools කියලා. So similarly, what we can do is, so we can do a projection for future. Then, because you approve a loan for a project to be repaid in project cash flows in future. එතකොට ඒක වෙන්නේ කොහොමද? There may be a projected P&L, projected balance sheet, projected cash flows under set of assumption. You getting my point? Because now we have done market appraisal, we have done environmental appraisal, we have done technical appraisal, right? We have done management appraisal. So taking everything into consideration, what we can do is we can now come to the project cost. Land cost, the building cost, the machinery. So there may be a couple of project items, which is my note. So the total say 100 million. Now, out of that 100 million, I must say the equity could be 60 million and loan could be 40 million. That's also the financing plan, plus the implementation plan and all that now set. Now, when the bank wanted to give 40 million, based on those whatever evaluation appraisals, we need to know what's the financial appraisal as well. A financial appraisal is, now we need to know what would be my future, because for that you need to know what is my future P&L, future balance sheet, future cash flows. ඒක කොහොමද අපි හදාගන්නේ? ඒක හදාගන්න we need to know some assumptions. Assumptions කියන්නේ මොනවද? Assumption is based on this technical, management, marketing, feasibilities. And market analysis එක කියයි, what are the products you are going to do? What are the prices that you are going to set? What type of you know, the sales that I am going to do in first quarter, second quarter, third quarter? Then turnover එතනින් හැදෙන්න පුළුවන්. And then cost of sales වලට ගියාට පස්සේ the technical aspects. This is my install capacity. This is the capacity utilization. So this is what we are going to produce. So this is my overhead cost. This is my general cost. So you understand. So everything could be now assumed based on your technical, market, management. When it comes to management, we can say salary මෙච්චරක් වෙනවා. Advertising මෙච්චරක් වෙනවා under the marketing. You getting my point? So based on that, you know which is my turnover, what is my cost of sales, what is my other expenses, what is my depreciation, what is my estimated interest. Because the bank එකත් එක්ක කතා කරාම they will say I will give 10-year loan, 2-year grace, 7% interest rates. So then we'll give what my interest rate for the future. Then maybe if tax is there or tax is not there, based on that, what's the tax I have to pay. So the set of assumptions will tell you what is my P&L like for the first year. Then I will say 5% increase. It's like that. Those are assumptions, right? So we will anyway do the project financial statement in a later stage. So I will exactly show that how we doing this, you know, the future projected financial statements kind of thing. But for the time being, assume that based on set of some assumptions, we do projected financial statement. එතකොට ඒක use කරලා we will do the same analysis like what we have done for existing company. Making profitability, liquidity, solvency, debt serviceability. So everything also you can do for the projected. So if you are happy with ratios, it could be again with the trend analysis, it could be vertical, it could be horizontal, it could be ratio analysis. other financial tools, you can use it for future also for this forecasted financials. Then you are happy with that. Then you say financially viable. Profitable ratios are good, liquidity ratios are good, solvency is good, adequacy, like coverage ratios good. So we are happy with the ratios, financial position also, and performance also. Right? That is the financial appraisal. One last thing is investment appraisal also, because I was telling you in terms of financial appraisal, not only this financial feasibility, investment feasibility also we need to think about. That is about how feasible this project concepts in terms of investment. ඒක මම අතින් සල්ලි දානවාද, ඒක මම බැංක් එකක් එක්ක කරනවාද, මම යාළුවෝ ටිකක් එක්ක කරනවාද, as joint venture කරනවාද? And before to do all that, we need to see this project is finance investment viable. If not, no point of going to the financing option. Then if I have a money and if I want to invest in and make a dala, if I'm not getting a return, then no point to find partners, go to bank, go into joint venture and do this, because it's investment not feasible. For that, what we need NPV, IRR, economic IRR or financial IRR, payback, counting rate of return. There are so many investment tools that you need to know. So based on that, it's a investment feasible project. So that is again is coming under the financial appraisal. Not on the financial feasibility, we also look into investment feasibility also. So with this, I wanted to keep you waiting on two areas, that is investment appraisal or investment tools and projected financial statements or forecasting. But we need to do it later, because I just wanted to do it before, but I thought, do it after, because it's like again a bit of number crunching, since that we have been doing so many numbers, prior to this, like, financial and break even, working capital and all that. So I wanted to keep that too after this and another session, and then we can leisurely also put that into your mind, because there you see again some kind of questions coming in terms of mathematical requirements about NPV, IRR, payback kind of thing. That's investment tools, and also we need to know what is about financial forecasting, because that is all about future, how we undertake a financial forecast for future. Right. Any questions? Right. If not, I'll move on. That is economic appraisal. Then mama kiwane, sometimes the examiner would ask about economic appraisal, legal appraisal, environmental appraisal separately also. Okay. So then again, in that sense, you need to know something about economic appraisal in order to write a short note. But I know environmental, it's not a big issue. Legal is nothing to write a lot, but in my short notes you can find one or two, like it basically about how much it is in line with the legal requirement of a country and a kind of a situation. So that's it about legality, to getting whatever all legal related approvals about the company formation to company continuation, and those things are the legal requirement. But when it comes to the economic appraisal, you can see it in differently, like labor intensity, because if a country is in terms of direction where more labor related projects to be introduced, then we have to see what the labor intensity. If you take more developed countries, they are very much on machine related automation, right? They are not labor intensive, right? And then if like country like Bangladesh or Sri Lanka, it's better we have a labor intensity, because there are some requirements to give more employment opportunities. ඒ හින්දා ඒ labor intensity එක අපිට බලපානවා අඩුද වැඩිද කියලා. ඊළඟට export oriented. Then right now we are very much on export driven. එතකොට if you are trying to do a kind of a company and where you try to do lot of product, which I mean the output which is more towards export driven, it could be a plus. And import subsidy in another way. So if we are put into the local market, which also reduce imports, again it is good in terms of economy. Local raw material usage, that is also important. Rather than you bringing raw material from abroad in order to value add for about product or service, we can get that local raw material, which again increase the money circulation among locals, bring their disposable income because getting the money, and value also being increased, and finally you add value and bring it to higher level when you export, higher income. So those things also important in terms of economy. Value addition, step 1, 2, 3 like that. Say raw rubber into crepe level, into rubber, into tire, and value-added tire. So like that. So the value addition happening in several stages. Just rather than exporting raw rubber to China or Malaysia, you now export value-added branded tire to US. Means you get more dollars to country which is in a requirement. Other economical benefits like what is like GDP contribution, about addressing the balance of payment, addressing the employment issue, and so many things. What are those? And if it is positive or negative. Then IRR is the internal rate of return. We can compute it to financial terms and economic rate also. Where you see in terms of computing the internal rate of return, and you try to bring economic cost and benefit to that. And also you see what is the economic IRR, EIRR, after taking not financial cost and financial benefits. After taking into economic cost and benefit, you try to understand what is the economic IRR. When you see economic IRR is also beyond whatever the agreed point, then it is a supporting project in terms of economic appraisal. So that's what economic appraisal is. So why I want to give this, as sometimes they might ask you to write a short note on economic appraisal. Because we can write a kind of 3-4 points out of here, and with a small description like what we discussed. So basically today's presentation I want to concentrate is what are the project appraisals, feasibility areas, economic to environment to financial to market to technical to management, 6 things. And each item, when everything is positive, will tell you is the feasibility, and if it's something about negative, it will end up with project risk. There are so many things I have list down here, a couple of things in the note you can read through, and each item also being described under 1 or 2 items also. Those 2 are very important. Then we need to know what is project appraisal and the function of several items, because this is more practically about feasibilities and risk. When you put it to more technical, it's a function of something. That's all about what we have done today up to now. Hope you don't have a kind of an issue out of those things, because it's not very technical, but only thing is be comprehensive when you are trying to go through for exam. Try to do that, because it is important for exam purposes. Then rest is a kind of a additional reading, but again, since that this has not been tested so far, but I just want you to go through it in brief and get an overview on this, because in case if the examiner wanted us to, even under MCQ, so we need to know example. So he might ask about when considering the cost of the land into project computation, what are the areas that one has to look into? ඒ කියන්නේ දැන් land එකක අපි cost එක ගන්නකොට project එකේ computation එක land එක මෙච්චරයි කියලා අපි land එකේ cost එක ගන්නකොට මොනවද අපි බලන්නේ? We might think is say value of the land. Not only that, right? ඒක තමයි මෙතනදි කියන්නේ what are the key items, right? Like these things interview with these things are here. These are example. If you see the location, for example, when you are assessing the location of the enterprise for the project, what are the things you would look into? Access, transportation, raw material supply line, labor availability, environmental suitability, and infrastructure requirement. Like, so we have to see those things. Whether land is hilly, flat, access, and maybe what are the neighbor community. So you have to see whether those things, when we are say we are happy with the location. When come to the land, you need to know what's the extent, what the nature of the land, right? What we need to see is whether it's a hilly land, then it's suitable or not. What's the water level? It's a flat land, it's located in a kind of within a community. It's possible to start a kind of a power manufacturing plant, right? Whether land development is required or not. If it is required, there is a land development cost. Whether it's a filling, leveling, retaining wall, draining, it's a requirement. And මේ වගේ ඒවා සමහර වෙලාවට if it is like you're just going to purchase a additional land, put up a store, might not be a bigger deal, because සමහරලාට තියෙන එකේම land එකක් ගත්ත you are putting a warehouse, might not require this kind of thing, because you just see that maybe a bit of small cost in land development, then you can do it. But when come to a bigger project, sometimes there may be pilling requirements. You need to level it, retaining walls, draining. For that you need to reserve something, recreational area kalla. So there may be requirement. So when you wanted to incorporate that, it incurs cost. එතකොට now when you say the land is something about year of purchase or purchase price, will not tell you what is the cost for the project. It depends on further actioning on the land development up to a project suitability. You getting my points? So like, let's say you purchase about a particular plot in 10 million in 5 years before. Now the value could be something about 20 million, but the customer come in and telling, so if the value is 20 million, my contribution is 20. No, it is not. So he purchases for 10 million. Now it's 20, but you need to, come to kind of agreement, because its actual incurred cost is something about 10 million. But his equity value is there for 20 million for security purposes. But his equity contribution to that land is 10. When you talk about the other cost and customer contribution, you can't take it as 20. It's something about 10 million, or maybe some kind of inflation adjustment. It could be something 12 million, 13 million, or maybe sometimes these things are more practical, right? When you say the 5-acre land, and then the value could be something 10 million. Now customer is coming and telling he wanted to put up a warehouse kind of factory sort of thing, maybe around a maximum say 1 acre. එතකොට 1 acre එකට දැම්මහම then project cost එකට how much we are getting? The cost of the 5-acre land, or the cost portion for this 1 acre? What do you think? What should be the ideal, practical? Its cost for this 1 acre. That's a project, right? because the rest of the 4 acres are there. But for security computation, asset cover computation, you can take the 5 acre value because it's a security asset cover computation. But the project cost computation, you are not using that 5 acres, only 1 acre. So what is the cost portion approximated for this 1 acre will be the cost for the project. එතකොට a land 1 acre and cost එක building එක machinery and other will be say this is the total cost. Very important. So otherwise you might say the 5 acre 5 million will be the land cost. No, because then inflated cost could be inflated and equity also could be inflated, right? So generally, we need to negotiate with the customer, and so this is what we are getting maximum for projects. And then we put up other cost on that. So this is the total cost for the project, and how much will be the equity, how much will be the debt. Otherwise, you might be overly financing, because if you take 5 million, if you take 10 million, the total cost of the land, right? So like that, buildings also you need to see the nature, mode of construction, floor area, construction value, other utilities, plant layout, whether need for expansion. Those things you need to look when you undertake a site visit, right? Because sometimes there may be, when you say buildings, you can't take everything for square feet cost. Square feet cost will be differ from maybe the bricks to steel to concrete to, so different construction. And how long has been constructed. සමහරවිට මේක අවුරුදු 5කට 10කට කලින් හදලා තියෙන එකක් නම් ඒ එදා value එක නෙවෙයි අද value එකක් නෙවෙයි. අපි බලනවා what could be the like a suitable cost for the project, or maybe we are putting an extension is required or not, because sometimes that you plan to bring down some machinery, maybe existing building, the layout, the location, the space may not be adequate. Then you might have to propose, we need to put up another building, which originally the promoter might have not thought about. Then for that you need to incur cost. That's the additional thing I am now telling you. But in general, when come to the building, what are the things that you will look into? That's what we need to have here. For exam, that he might ask about, what are the things you would look into in assessing or estimating the cost of the land into a project, cost of a building into a project, cost of a machinery into a project cost computation. So this is more than enough. When you assessing the cost, when you are taking account the building cost into total project cost, we look into these areas. So based on that, the project cost could go up or down. That is the only, the requirement that you need to have for exam. But generally, everything has to be go into very detail in assessing, in arriving the project cost. In practically, we will visit, we will see, we'll go by the BOQ, we'll compare with the BOQ price with other, similar construction, maybe in-house. If required, we go with the expert opinion and to see whether this is correct. Just to tell why it is important, because now, example, now customer might come and tell you, we are going to put up a building, square feet cost is say 500. But when you refer maybe the previous, current and market, it could be something 700. The customer 500 වලට මට මේක කරන්න පුළුවන්. But market average is 700. But let's say now when you take the customer word and 500 into 1000 square feet and about 5 million is the cost of the building, and but actually it's a 7 million. එතකොට අපි දැන් 5 million දාලා cost of the project එක ඔක්කොම හදලා, then we'll say bank will give this much, equity could be this much, and finally when we are dispersing stages, then he might not be able to finish it because it needs 7 million. Because without knowing or with kind of some idea, he put the value. But it's your call to see whether the value mentioned by the contractor, mentioned by the promoter is accurate or not. Okay, අනිත් පැත්ත වෙන්න පුළුවන්. 700 ඕන වෙලාව 500 දාන්න නැතුව 900ක් දාන්න. දැන් අපි 900ට approve කරාම 9 million approve කරනවා. ඇත්තටම ඕනේ 700යි, 7 million. 2 million is that, you know, we will disburse for construction, but he can use it for some other purposes. So which is again, you inflate the cost. Then customer is not generating adequate money to service that. මොකද දැන් වෙන අය මිලියන 7ට කරන එක මිලියන 9ට කරාට පස්සේ additional cost එකක් ගිහිල්ලා තියෙනවා, maybe is personal and whatever we can't, you know, estimate. So I mean, you need to accurately estimate as much as possible. එතකොට දැන් when you are not doing the correct job, it could be cost overrun or cost underrun. Cost overrun එකක් වුණොත් unnecessary money goes to customer hand and he could use it effectively or not, which ultimately put both in trouble. Cost underrun means underestimating, again, customer needing further financing. If you say can't, he might go to money lender and bring it and create other problem for the completion and the servicing. So a lot of things has to be done appropriately, accurately, which sometimes difficult because this is all about future, all about estimation. But we try to make as much as possible using expert knowledge, internal knowledge, competitor knowledge, promoter knowledge, and so everything we try to combine and to come to a kind of a better situation and you know, to fine tune the final proposal, the cost of the project. So like that, there may be several things that you can read through. I mean, not everything, but land, building, machinery, and working capital would do, because that is the only possible area that you know, he might descend into a kind of thing, right? Working capital part that he could ask. I don't see that he might, you know, check us on further because so far it has not been given. If it could be given, it would have been something about maybe MCQ question. So you need to write a kind of a one line, or maybe 5 marks like a subsection. That again is not like a big deal, where if you know at least 2-3 points under each cost items. So with that, basically I think I have done. But what are the questions that you have it? Anything not clear? Anything you want to get it further clarified? So my plan would be like another 2 sessions, or rather 3, could be about follow-up and SIG projects, and then investment tools and the forecasting. And if time permits, we can do something about network diagrams and all that. It's not a big area. So with that, probably we might be able to complete the session. And then after that, we are supposed to conduct lectures up to mid-April, so that we will be able to do some past paper questions also. In the meantime, I advise you to, you know, get the past papers and try whatever the questions that we have done on the syllabus area we have done. And if you do have any questions, please let me know, even like when you're undertaking those questions. Don't wait for until the Saturday, since few of you with me, so you can even you know, interrupt me, give a call and give me a kind of update on if any issues that you come across when you undertake past papers. Because don't wait for the last moment, because there may be other subjects that also that you need to worry with, and try to finish it as much as possible on whatever the areas we have done in terms of development financing. Since these days that I am, you know, marking papers, I don't see any, you know, difficulty in the paper, and the difficulty for students who attempted the paper, most of the times actually they have, you know, got through without any trouble. So means that, you know, same thing could continue for the next paper. We wish like that to be a kind of more easy paper, and then so we try to, you know, finish it at you know, probably end of May or early June. That could be the next exams. So means that we don't have much time, only 2 months. If you take New Year holidays out, maybe only 1.5 months or so. I'm not telling you to pressurize, but, you know, take some, you know, early actions And since this is a easy subject, so we'll do like that, right? If you don't have any questions, that we can wind it up. But initially I thought to have a class on this 11, but again I thought otherwise, because it's maybe since we have adequate time to complete, I'm not going to have a class because maybe you have some plans for this holiday also. It's 11th, but no worries that in case if we want that, we will have a extra class on early April to do past papers. I mean, for the time being, I think we need 3 to 4 days to cover the syllabus, which we can do by end of the March, and maybe 2 or 3 days within April to do some selected past papers. So that is my plan. If anything, that if you feel otherwise, please let me know. So if you don't have any questions, we can wind it up for today. And so wish you a safe week ahead, and we'll meet on next week at 8 o'clock. So thank you.